On the first episode of the hashtag Should I Buy It show, I'm talking about the rise of eSports, the future of Activision Blizzard, exciting opportunities, and where the value is. Stay tuned.
3 separate devices. This is one device.
To associate with people who are better than yourself and act.
I'm going to make him an offer again.
Hi everybody, I'm Sam and this is Entiversal. You're watching episode 1 of my new show called hashtag Should I Buy It? In it we'll be talking about future investments, interesting cutting edge innovations, and basically trying to see what's the value in them and should we buy it? So today we're talking about the enormous rise of esports, what are esports, and what's the opportunities in them, and how do I see them doing in the future. And I also will be talking about a beautiful company called Activision Blizzard. So let me start with that. I'm a big fanboy of Blizzard. I was playing World of Warcraft for years. I still play Warcraft from time to time. And I just think that they're the best in the industry as of storytelling. They have built an enormous big game universe, if you can say it like that. And, as you see, they have tons of books. I've read quite a lot of them. I actually believe that there are more books than you can see here. And they have probably hundreds of, trailers and short movies. You can search them on YouTube or on their website. And they're just very, very good at storytelling and building that kind of environment that just sucks you in. And even now when I'm speaking about that, I kind of feel nostalgic about it. And if someone asks me which is the best game ever, I would just say World of Warcraft. And if I actually go back and decide to play a game, I would just probably go back and play World of Warcraft. That's kind of the fan loyalty that I believe they have built with their amazing storytelling and universe. And obviously the other thing is that they can monetize a lot on it. All of their games are basically based on the same story, and they are kind of in the same universe, and that just gives them such a big moat, this kind of thing that no other company can actually take from them. So how did I actually decide to look into esports and the role that Activision Blizzard has to play in that? Well, about 3 weeks ago I watched online the BlizzCon, World of Warcraft arena tournament. And I was watching it, in my home, live stream on the Blizzard website. And, there are actually like 5 or 6 live streams almost all the time simultaneously. A ton of different, short movies, creative ideas and process behind the games. And I was just watching that, and I was like, man, this is big. This is so big. And Activision Blizzard are pushing really hard into esports, and I believe they're kind of probably the biggest player in the future in that. And what's esports? As the name suggests, those are electronic sports, right? Those are the games that people in the past imagined just a couple of nerds playing from their rooms. Now there are teams and millions and millions are poured into that. They have like training facilities. They are paid millions. Esports are moving so fast to actually getting on the level of regular sports, like deals, like advertisement, and the scale of the whole thing. And I was watching what Blizzard are doing, and here's just a little screenshot from one of the arenas that I watched. And you can see that there is a lot of information in there, but it's still presented very nice. And the thing is that you're watching it from home, but the experience that you're getting is actually probably the same, or maybe arguably better than what you get if you go into the arena live, because while with physical sports, let's face it, the experience is not the same watching it live or online or on TV. Esports, I believe that's much more scalable, because the experience is kind of the same, right? Or even you can see even better from your home. And I don't even want to get into the future of augmented reality and virtual reality, where you can actually feel like you're part of it, you're into the game, which is just big. And that's why I believe esports are much more scalable. And as we'll see in a second now, they're growing so fast that not any physical sport has done nothing close to the growth they have. What Blizzard's doing is just so professional, guys. They have like 3-4 commentators all the time, and when you're actually watching, it's like a mixture of a box arena match and probably a football game. So you can actually see the tension, the action from first person, as you can see here, and then at the same time you're listening to the commentators outlining all the different dynamics that are happening. And they have like presenters, and it's just so big. I encourage you to go and watch something on YouTube or on Blizzard website. It's just so big. So what games do Activision Blizzard have, and why do I believe they are the future of esports? Probably. Well, while some other games, as we'll see in a second, they have bigger viewerships, right? But what Activision Blizzard have is an environment. So they have not one, not two games, but they have a range of games which are all good fitted to be esports, and they can actually be the lead, the supplier, the platform where we can watch esports, which is just huge, guys, huge. They have World of Warcraft, as we said, arenas. There are already a lot of tournaments in all of those games, by the way, but I just believe that they'll get bigger and bigger. And that's Heroes of the Storm. That's basically their version of Defense of the Ancients, which is again competitive, short game, so it's perfect for esports. That's Overwatch, that's kind of like shooter, again competitive. StarCraft, more of a strategy, but there are still tournaments, and it still could be a esport. And there is Hearthstone, that's basically like a card game with different spells, and kind of with the Warcraft story behind it. And it kind of reminds like Yu-Gi-Oh! If you've played it. But again, even on it, there are tournaments. It could be an esport. So they have at least 5 games here, guys. And there's the Activision side. They have one of the biggest shooter at all game franchises, Call of Duty and Destiny 2, which are both kind of shooter games, which now I don't believe are as well fitted to be esports, but they could be easily made into esports, I think. So they have just such a big variety of things that that's like having football and having American football and having hockey and having baseball and all of those stuff, guys. So let me talk a little bit more about esports, their future, and their amazing rise. So now I'll be talking about Dota 2, which are hosting the International Championship, League of Legends, which are hosting the League of Legends Championship, and then on the other side is Activision Blizzard. I want to illustrate how fast esports are growing. As you can see here, the International 2017 has more than doubled its viewership in 3 years. I want to think about more than doubled, while regular physical sports at the moment are either with very small growth, kind of stagnant, or even most of them are declining. They have doubled viewership in 3 years with 5 million concurrent viewers. And as you can see, that's again the international, the same esports championship. Let's see how they are growing about their prize money, because at the end, money talks, guys. Money represents how much anticipation is there for the event, how much advertising, how much money are basically poured into it, because money makes money. So 2011, that's the other thing. I want you to focus that all of that data is from 2011, so that's just 6-7 years ago. For 6-7 years, look at the growth. So they have started with 1 million first prize money. Now, if I scroll down, 2017, the money is almost 11 million prize. So that's almost 11 times increasement in 7 years. Now let's talk about League of Legends Championship. The finals, just the finals, were watched by 43 million unique viewers. 43 million, with a peak concurrent viewership of almost 15 million viewers, and the cumulative daily unique impressions reached 400 million. I'll just show you in a second how they started 7 years ago. Now they're bringing audience of 400 million people. As you can see, they have started with 200,000 viewers on the final in 2011, now up to 15 million. And here I have opened the official League of Legends eSports website, and I wanted to show you where they started from. Okay, that's 2011. So here you can see what the championship looked like in 2011. That's just 7 short years ago. And I wanted to see how it looked like in 2012. So that's 1 year apart, guys. 1 year. Now let's look at what it looked like in 2013. Look at that. Look at the scale, guys. Now let's look at 2014 and look at the audience, guys. Look at the audience. And here I have it even better scale to look at. First season 2011, 2012, 2013, and that's 2014. And as we saw the numbers of 2016, it's even bigger now. So, just esports are growing like crazy. So here we can see the most watched esports events from 2014 to 2017 growth. Here I have put some projection about how esports will grow in the future. So here we are in 2017, that's around almost 400 million viewers audience, and as we see, League of Legends really pulled that. In 2012 it's predicted to be almost 600 million. So that's in the next 2 to 3 years we can see 50% increase, guys. That's just crazy. And just look at physical sports growth and you'll see the big difference. And now let me talk about what Activision Blizzard are doing. And as I told you already, I just believe in their ecosystem that they have built, but also they're going with very real things, pushing into esports. As I told you, live streams, you can watch it on the Blizzard website. And here they have built their own Blizzard esports arena, which obviously is not with the size of a stadium, but as I told you, it doesn't have to be, because I just believe the scalability of esports is into streaming, online, and digital. And as you can see, it looks very well here. As you see are the commentators, and they're really investing into that. Another thing for the future that Activision are doing, and it's just so big, they are building the first, let me repeat that, the first official esports league, because all the tournament that we saw and that were in the past, they're organized just as a tournament from one company, and players are coming in and so on. Here we are talking about professional league. Here we are talking about the standards of NFL, the American Football National League. Here we're talking about the Baseball League. Here we're talking about NBA. Here we're talking about the Championship League for football in Europe. Here we're talking about this kind of level, and that's billions and billions and billions possible in the future. And I listened to CEO's expectation. They really believe in the league, and they have actually already sold I believe 12 teams, and they are ranging from 10 to 15 million per team. And a lot of people that are very good in actual physical sports, managers and people that own physical sports teams, actually are investing into esports now, which is again something that shows you that they can really see the growth and they can really see the future in there. So you can see the website. They're launching in, I believe, in January or December or January next year. So that's just so big, guys, so big. The first official league, and with league that we are talking about professional players. Here we're talking about crazy advertising. Here we're talking about, instead of tuning in to the championship league, here we're talking about tuning to the Overwatch league. As I mentioned, that's just Overwatch. They have 4 or 5 games more that are ready and can be fitted into esports. They're just building a platform, guys, and it's so big. Now let me get more into the Activision Blizzard as a company, fundamentals, what they're doing, and my outlook for more of the stock. So Activision, as we see, around 48 billion market capitalization company, which makes it, by the way, the biggest by quite a wide margin, games company. And we can see why is that. So the PE ratio is quite high. Let's not kid ourselves, it's 43. But as you can see, the forward PE actually is 25. So they have been beating earnings quarter over quarter. As you can see, they're growing quite well, price targets and everything. So actually a PE of 25 is not that high for, considering that, by the way, the SAP is at, a PE of 22, 23, and Activision Blizzard are more of a story company and stock, because as we saw with eSports, with what they're doing, the possibilities for the future are huge. And if we actually compare Activision Blizzard to, other story stocks like Netflix, like Amazon, like Tesla, actually we can see that they are very cheap, guys. They are very cheap comparing to those companies. And now I'm not saying, are they better, investment, are they worse investment? I don't want to talk about that. I'm talking about pure fundamentals. Even if we actually look into their balance sheet, and by the way, I listened to their conference call, look through their SEC filings, and if you think about investing into a company, I encourage you to go and do that always, because that's where you can actually build your own understanding of the company. We can see that they have almost 10 billion. We can see that they have almost 10 billion into shareholders' equity, and as we said, the company is 48 billion market capitalization. So they have a lot of money that they can invest. They're actually paying a small dividend here. So as the fundamentals, actually, it's not that bad. I mean, comparing to the overall market, it's not that bad, and the future looks very promising. And here I have put some articles about Activision Blizzard, and 6 things Activision Blizzard's management wants you to know, and that's very important. As I saw the conference call, it's time for investors to get a peek in what kind of initiatives are next on the company's growth plans. And here we can see actually very promising stuff. So Activision Blizzard, we're talking about engagement, and actually as a platform, that's what I'm talking about, platform environment, guys. Activision Blizzard's users are nearly as engaged in the platform as Facebook's entire business, guys, as time spent. Very important thing, monetizing engagement, because now obviously they have to monetize, but they also own King, which is basically mobile games. So here there is a very strong stream of monetizing in-game. Call of Duty is coming. Actually, Call of Duty already came out, and they broke their own records, I believe, like 500 million revenue in the first 2 days. Just crazy stuff. The video game business has changed. Before, you just bought a game from the store and that's it. Now more and more games are moving into in-game purchasing, which is very important because it's much more scalable. Before you had to just sell games. Now you can sell the game and you can update it and make actually more and more monetizing into the game without making people to actually go to a store, decide if they need to buy a new game. Would they buy it? Wouldn't they know? No, now everything is in-game, so you can actually have much more scalability. A new stream of revenue, in-game advertising, guys, in-game advertising. So you can see that games are more and more evolving into platforms, into media companies, into something that's very, very fascinating and interesting, and the opportunities are very, very big. Esports are already getting a sponsor, as I saw with the Overwatch League and so on. So that's very encouraging stuff about the future of the company and the business as a whole. BlizzCon's 2017 is what investors need to know, and as I saw, BlizzCon, that's basically an event where a lot of championships happened and a lot of announcement about the future of the games in the company. So StarCraft sets to go free to play, and that's, I think, very, very good decision, because that will make much more players able to play, and then you can monetize on advertising, on in-game purchases, which is much more scalable. And as we saw, new World of Warcraft content, so they're actually expanding on their games and they're investing into that, which is very important for future growth. And finally, I want to talk about why Activision Blizzard stock could be a little risky now. So as we saw, I just believe in that company's future. I believe it's an amazing opportunity, amazing investment, with esports, with what they're doing, evolving into media, into platform, into much more scalable business. However, now, and obviously I can't preach, but they could be risky because investors are very hyped, right? They are very hyped about Overwatch League. They are very hyped about the future. They're very hyped about the growth in esports, which is incredible, as I was talking about. But the problem is that that's the first esports league ever made. That's the first game company trying to go much farther than what any other company in the industry has done, and actually invest and build something a bit different from their original business. So I am not convinced that the Overwatch League will be a big success from the first year, from the second year, from the third year. I don't know where we would be very profitable, how much people will be watching, and so on. And I don't think it will fail, but I just think it's a long-term thing, right? And with investors being very hyped up, I just think that while Overwatch League can do reasonable good numbers and actually be kind of a success, investors can see it is not as big as they expected, and so the stock price could fall, right? So the way I see it, that could happen, and obviously the stock price could fall like 4, 5, 10, 15%. I don't know. The other thing is it could actually be a big success, bigger than expected, and the stock price of Activision Blizzard will just go through the roof. Basically, I can't say how much it will go, but it will go through the roof. So, the way I'm thinking about this investment and the way I would play it is, I don't think it's very smart to get into it with all of the money that you want to invest. For example, let's say you have thousands of dollars that you want to invest. What I would do really is invest probably half of it now. If it goes down, then I believe into the long-term future of the company, then I could buy on a lower price and possibly have bigger games in the future. And then if it shoots up, well, I already have some kind of gain, and then I can buy more, because again, I believe in the long-term future of the company. So you'll be able to leverage your positions better. The other thing, that could be done really is, hedging your position if you understand of options and so on. I believe the possibilities for Activision Blizzard are amazing. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of #ShouldIBuyIt series, and see you next time. Stay Entiversal.